Brain surgeon and general all-around physiology genius Dr. Jack Kruse literally bathes his patients in red light in his operating room while they're under surgery.
Hey, Dr. J.
Yes, sir.
You're supposed to be some big wellness know-it-all, right?
Yeah. I mean, no.
Red light therapy, hype or legit science?
Well, that's probably best answered if I introduce you to the newest member of my wellness hacking team. The Platinum LED Biomax 900, right around the corner. So I bring you Biomax 900.
Whoa!
No kidding, right? Plenty enough legit science. I just built a red light booth in my office.
Cool. Tell us more.
All right, well then here's your headline. Modern humans are starving for the frequencies found in red light, and our health is suffering for it. Every single living thing evolved under the sun and is tied to this external energy source. No sun, no life, period. So about half of the sunlight that reaches Earth is in the infrared and red band, while the other half is scattered across the rest of the visible light spectrum, plus ultraviolet. Now we know that sunlight exposure is associated with better health, right? Vitamin D production doesn't happen without ultraviolet, for instance. And what's the world's biggest and probably most important vitamin deficiency, by the way? Vitamin D. And here's where red comes in. About 150 years ago, things began to change in a big way. Man-made electricity and artificial light. And in the blink of an eye, bam, we now spend about 80% of our lives out of the sun, indoors, under artificial light. And that's a big problem.
Why is that?
No red in artificial light. We now get nowhere near the exposure our ancestors did since the dawn of time.
So different wavelengths deliver different biological effects.
Roger that, and wavelengths of red are immensely important. Nothing more so probably than their upregulation of our mitochondria. You know, you've heard of it, the specialized machinery in our cells that makes energy, that powers up every single process in our bodies. It's associated with aging, memory, brain health, immunity, healing, endurance, literally every body process. So as you can imagine, improving mitochondrial function automatically has untold downstream health effects. But again, there's absolutely no substitute for natural sunlight. I recommend it in every video, yes?
Any more specifics?
Well, the National Library of Medicine now shows 8,000 published studies on red light therapy, so how much time do we have? The most common and profound effects of red and near-infrared include increased energy production, the mitochondrial support we mentioned, increased collagen formation, increased blood flow, and anti-inflammatory effects. The difference is that near-infrared's slightly longer wavelengths penetrate deeper and thus affect at different tissue layers. Now this unit delivers 7 frequencies, but devotes most of its energies to 2 specific wavelengths that are sort of a sweet spot therapeutic window biologically. Now don't get caught up in the terminology. Nanometers is the unit of measurement used here to describe different wavelengths. So first of all, 660 nanometer red, key for wound healing, skin repair, acne, scarring, anti-inflammatory activity, collagen production. And 850 nanometer near infrared, talked about it earlier, slightly longer wavelength, deeper penetration to muscles, bones, and joints. And again, acts in the same way as the shorter wavelength red, but works at deeper layers. Also improves hemoglobin production, which of course is necessary for carrying oxygen to our cells. So I get it, this makes for super interesting video, but why don't we kill this and get outside and get some actual real sun? I think this will be fine. So brain surgeon and general all-around physiology genius Dr. Jack Kruse literally bathes his patients in red light in his operating room while they're under surgery. And beyond that, they're wheeled directly out into the sunshine post-op to continue receiving Mother Nature's healing vibrations. Pretty unbelievable. Also recently, a patient showed me his incredibly minimal chest scarring after open heart surgery about a year ago. And he attributed this to his surgeon's recommendation for daily red light for about 20 or 30 minutes or natural sunlight after his surgery. I thought that was pretty wild. And really quickly, I want to share a couple of studies that I found fascinating with you, and I'll link a bunch in the description. So first, a 2020 study demonstrated that daily exposure to deep red light plus vitamin D and some trace minerals significantly reduced the need for thyroid replacement therapy in an autoimmune disorder known as Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Traditional medical treatment for this is lifelong thyroid replacement therapy. And a 2021 study published in Scientific Reports showed that 670 nanometer red light applied to the eyes 3 minutes per week significantly improved function of aging retinas to the point where older folks could better recognize gradations in color. Now here's the amazing thing. It was effective only when applied in the morning. Zero effect in the afternoon. Can you believe that? Imagine effective only in the morning when Mother Nature's biological clock would have us coming alive in the morning sunrise. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. Triple negative breast cancer is notoriously difficult to treat. 660 nanometer red light was shown effective in reducing proliferation of triple negative breast cancer cells in vitro. That's pretty promising. And in another study, 2016, psychiatric disorders, traumatic brain injury, dementia, Alzheimer's were all benefited by 660 nanometer red light and near infrared applied directly to the head. Wow. So suppose I had to find some downside to red light therapy. It would be that it's not a one-shot deal, right? Like most everything else in our elusive run toward vibrant health, it's a never-ending journey. It is what it is, I'm afraid. Good things happen to us when we do good things on a consistent basis. You know, patients will sometimes ask me, Doc, how long do I need to stay off gluten and sugar? My answer is something like, only as long as you want to keep feeling good. I guess the big takeaway here is we all need to increase deep red exposure. The sun shall remain forever our ultimate and indispensable power source. So get outside in the daylight as often and as much as you can. But if that's not happening on a regular basis, do the next best thing. Get yourself in front of a quality red light panel for at least 20 minutes. I shoot for about 20 minutes 3 times a week or so. That's obviously inconvenient if you don't own a unit. It might be important enough, I think, for you to think about budgeting for one. And if that doesn't work, there are spas and health clubs and sources popping up everywhere. And look, no matter how technologically advanced we become, Mother Nature's rules still apply in the end. A fantastic wellness regimen starts with 20 minutes of early morning sun every day and get your bare feet on the ground. You've heard of grounding or earthing? That may be a future video soon too. It's legit. And by the way, on a whim, I just started doing some muscle testing of patients under red light. Definitely the topic of a future vid. So, links in the description. Yours in Vibrant Health, Dr. J.